Welcome to Brokeree add-on interview series. In this series, we sit down with clients, partners, and experts to explore how the industry is evolving and what that means for brokers, tech providers, and any stakeholders alike. Hosted by Brokeree Solutions, these conversations are designed to add value to the financial services space by sharing insights, encouraging collaborations, and unlocking ideas that drive growth and innovation. Whether you are new to the industry or have been around for a while, there is something here for you. Hi everyone, my name is Paulina. Welcome back to our add-on Brokeree interview series. Today, we are going to dive into a really important topic in our environment, which is KYC. I want to speak about its evolution and about the technology stepping up to the ongoing challenge. KYC, of course, always been a foundation of every brokerage operation, but with the new regulations and the rising frauds and the new member in a game, which is AI-driven scams, now the pressure is very high on every brokerage. That's why I'm really excited about our today's guest, Angelos Gregoriou from Dynamic.Works, who will help us to explore this topic, to make it more clear about what is changing, what we can really expect to change in the future, also connected to all the technology. Hello, Angelos. Welcome.
Hello, Paulina. It's nice to be here.
Thank you so much for coming to our series. So I wanted to ask you to tell us a bit more about yourself and your expertise.
I am the CEO of Dynamic.Works. Dynamic.Works is an established business that exists for the last 23 years. And in the last 8 years, we are well into the financial sector. We've transformed to a fintech company, offering Dynamic.Works Intellicore as now one of the most established CRM systems with a client portal and mobile application. And any satellite is needed for a business to operate in the financial sector, investment firms, forex, CFDs, crypto exchanges. And in the last couple of years, I've proud that I led with my colleagues the development of a new KYC solution that brings Intellicore to stand out, being the first CRM with a native, its own online KYC solution.
Thank you so much for that. This is why I'm really excited to have your expertise on this topic. So I wanted to start from, of course, as always, basics. Could you brief us a bit about why KYC is such a foundation in every brokerage right now?
It's for many reasons. I can say it's a must because if you're a broker, you want to prevent fraud. That's the first thing you want to do because that's where the biggest damage is made. Brokerages is made by frauds, duplicate profiles, people who are trying to trick the brokerage. And of course, it's the regulation because the regulation is demanding that every brokerage, every serious brokerage has a compliance department and it's seriously considering compliance in their operations. And it's being made as a compulsory now for brokerages by the regulators, most regulators to have eKYC in their systems. So it has become not a good to have thing for just speeding up, but it's also a necessity.
Okay, can you tell us a bit more about the eKYC?
eKYC is the process where documents like identity documents, passports, driving licenses are not just uploaded by the users for the purpose of identifying themselves and proving that they're a real person, but its technology is used to confirm that the document is real, it's valid, it's not fake, and it's representing the person who is signing up with the brokerage.
Okay.
And this is done without the human intervention.
Okay, so it's a bit of a introduction of a small AI to the process. Can we understand it like this?
Yes, AI has been becoming a very important factor in the eKYC sector. eKYC exists for many years. You see it in airports. You see it also with brokerages. There are companies that are doing this for more than a decade. But now it's becoming more and more intelligent because of the need for intelligence. Users have learned tricks, and it has to become intelligent. So now with the luxury of AI, it's becoming more intelligent and it's getting harder to break it.
Of course, this is also what I want to touch a bit later because it's a very, very interesting thing about kind of a battle between like one AI versus another AI. We can kind of see it now happening actually day by day with a new way of fraud. But first, I want to also ask you about the challenges because we can have different KYC approaches in every company, in every brokerage. And what do you think? What are the main challenges that the brokers face right now?
Integrations is a challenge because the broker has to go to multiple providers. They have to choose the right system to operate their business. And that system needs to be integrated with their chosen eKYC provider. And that's one challenge that we are solving by introducing eKYC as a native functionality of the system so that they don't need to go to providers to do this because they have other providers to go to. They have to go and select a trading platform. They need to select their copy trading system with Brokeree, for example, and the different systems they need to operate their businesses. So that's one provider less to choose. One challenge is this. Then the other challenge is the user experience while they are onboarding. So they need fast onboarding. So that's another thing where I believe we found a way to resolve and make it smoother. What we do is that we are using not only OCR technologies, but also for the identity documents that support it, we also use the so-called NFC. NFC is a technology that is now it's becoming more and more of a technology used by many countries. I can call it a chip that is embedded in the ID or the passport, and it contains an electronic version of the document.
Okay. When I was doing the research for the interview, I saw this NFC verification, some facts about it. Also, what I was really interested about was AI driven liveness checks and also voice call analysis. Can you also say a bit more about those? How this works?
Yes, they want just to complete the KYC part and the challenges that we are trying to tackle.
Yes.
That when you're onboarding with a broker, the bet with the brokers is to make the onboarding as fast as possible with the user by still being compliant. So they want to make the life easier. So the user can start, they can scan their documents with NFC or without NFC. So the system will detect it. They will just type, for example, their email, and the rest of their details that were supposed to be typed by the user, they're extracted by the ID. So it's just a few seconds to scan the ID, extract the details, and go to the next stage. Just maybe type your phone number, then sign up, and whatever else is the profile of the user is created. And if there is any other details that the broker needs to collect for the purpose of identifying the user or being compliant, they do it after this stage. So that's saving you minutes for typing information. And it's also compliant. So you do two steps in one.
Yes.
That's one of the challenges that we're tackling. The other thing is the proof of address. One challenge is that there are many different documents that they were not being able to be read in the past, and now with AI, we can isolate. On a proof of address, you have different challenges. You can have, for example, a document that has multiple addresses here and there.
Yes.
Because there are hundreds of thousands of proof of address identification documents in the world. You cannot have a fixed library like you can have with the proof of identities. And now that this is not changing too much, That is changing a lot because there are thousands of providers of utilities in every country.
Yes.
This electricity authority, the other electricity provider, a gas provider, a water provider. So there are so many different ones and maybe different in different cities, etc. So you need a smart way to extract the correct address and the correct name. So we're using AI to identify which one is the address of the user, for example, of the client, as opposed to the address of the water authority, which is another address that is being displayed on the document. So you need to find some clever ways to isolate the correct address. That's one thing, and extract it and make the life of the compliance department easier. Another challenge, which is a big one, is that many utility bills are handwritten. So we are tackling that as well. We managed to read handwritten utility bills and extract the information using in a proper electronic format.
That sounds amazing that your solution is like able to do that already, because it's not about of course, it's very important from the side of a trader to have a smooth process, because I believe that we can all see that very often the traders, they're backing off even when they really want to start working with said broker because of the long compliance process.
Yes.
But it's also about making life easier, not even easier, but just keeping everything safer for the compliance team. You mentioned about, for example, NFC technology. This is all to make KYC more advanced. And I wanted to ask you about the different jurisdictions in the world. Is any of them pushing harder for the advances in KYC? And if the regulations are pushing for the growth in this space?
I know for a fact that in Europe there is a broader use of NFC IDs, and it's a European Union-wide used approach. I know that passports worldwide are pushing for NFCs. Most of the passports worldwide they use NFC technology, and I cannot tell you out of my mind now exactly which countries are pushing it. Because we update the list all the time. We have a department that is following that, and we are updating our libraries accordingly. And of course, we give the opportunity to the user to choose to scan their passport with NFC or not. The advantage of using NFC for KYC is, apart from the information being more securely extracted and more accurately extracted, because they are already in electronic format, so the possibility of error is going down to zero. On the NFC, when you go, I'm not sure if you have an ID with NFC or a passport with an NFC, but if you do, the day you want to issue your passport, they took a photo of you.
Yes.
That photo is stored on the chip. So we have a high resolution photo of the document stored in the chip. And this way, when we compare it to the liveness test, we have a much better image to compare and make sure that we are talking with the right person. We are onboarding the right person. So we compare the high resolution photo on the chip as opposed to a low resolution photo that is scanned from an ID which is printed or a passport which is printed. We compare it with the liveness test, which is again high resolution. So you have a much better possibility to have a correct liveness test with no fakes.
Of course. I mean, it's amazing that this technology, now I know what you're, of course, talking about with the new passports that have all the bio data on it, and also the photos, of course, that you can extract those information. But my question is, because of course we have a reason of technology on the other side of the traders that unfortunately want to go into direction of a scam. So of course, the reason of the rise of technology is also on their side. So with this technology that right now we have, are we still able to spot any frauds or, for example, fake IDs, any scam? Are we still able to see that?
We are, because we are comparing the MRZ. The MRZ of the ID is the backside of the ID, and it's also on the passport. And if you're using NFC, you compare the MRZ on the document with what is in the chip, and those two, they have to match, and it's quite complex to break it. When it comes to security, there is always a way for a very advanced hacker to find a way to reverse engineer something. But imagine having, for example, in a brokerage, let's say 10% scam and 0.001% scam is a big difference. I mean, and of course, it's the human factor of the broker to prevent that. And it's also other things. So when it comes, for example, to our CRM, we have other preventive features and that will, for example, raise an alert when there is a withdrawal that is going to happen that is potentially, it has a possibility of fraud. So there is an alert there. So process this withdrawal, take care of this. That's one thing that we're doing on a different basis. We also have another system that it's in the vector of the systems that we're currently launching now. The new system that we have been pushing to the market in the last few months is another one is we call it behavior rate. That's monitoring all the activities of the users and is detecting anomalies in the behavior of the users. It's another thing. So the IPs they log in, if they change locations, if they log in from one location and then they log in from another, what is their withdrawal rate? What's their deposit rate? How are they using their computer? Is it the correct user or the user changed? So it's a set of modules that we're launching for enhancing the security and preventing fraud. And you was also mentioning voice analysis before, AI voice analysis.
Yes.
So we can touch that subject as well. Many brokerages, they use voice calls to get in touch with their potential customers or they get in touch with their existing customers. And in many cases, the business supervisors or managers, they don't really know what's happening in those calls, who says what. And when it comes to, let's say, compliance and regulation, the regulators are forcing brokers to monitor those calls in the languages that are spoken and make sure that there's nothing said in those calls that are against the regulation. For example, you cannot promote financial products in a call to customers, make them become customers. So that's one flag. So what we do is that we take the calls. We use an AI model to analyze the calls, not just one model. It's a multi-model approach. We analyze those calls in different approaches. We translate them and they give the essence to the brokers and the managers and analytics that will help them detect that, okay, there's some alerts that someone did something that they shouldn't, or there are other alerts that, the customers are not satisfied in the calls, or there's a great potential for these customers. So pay attention to these customers as opposed to others. There's many things because for every analysis of a call, we know what type of call is taking place and we analyze it from a different perspective. If it's a sales call, we will analyze the compliance and the potential of the customer and also the value of the agent who is making the call. If it's a follow-up call or a support call, we use a different prompt, a different approach. And if it's helping the customer with their KYC, is another approach. So it's a game-changing feature.
I totally agree, and I think there is a lot of potential there. But the question that I right now have in my head is that privacy. From the perspective of a trader, do you think when implementing this technology, is there any risk of making traders feeling a bit watched, and that may result in scaring off the potential new traders?
That there is the regulators that we know. I will refer, for example, to SISEC. I know that the recordings of calls are compulsory. So it's nothing that is changing there. What is changing is instead of a supervisor having to monitor the call.
Yes, of course.
It's a model.
But
the call is already recorded and it's in file because the regulator might come and request for that for that recording. They do
Yes,
spot
of course.
checks when there are audits.
Of course. So there is no change there in this space.
There is not real change. Of course, we have to comply with the AI regulations and restrictions that are they are being formed now in Europe. So we are following that, and our legal departments and certification consultants are also making sure that we are compliant with that when they are processing. Don't ask me details because I don't know all the laws, but we do have a team that is handling that.
Okay. So you mentioned new innovations, new technology that a brokerage can add to the compliance process, right? And I wanted to ask you about the whole process again from a trader's perspective, because what traders mainly want, I think I can very safely say always wants in terms of the KYC process, is easy onboarding, fast onboarding, so they can start trading. And we kind of adding a new security layers, if you can call it that way. Don't you think that it will kind of slow down the process and affect the broker and the amount of new traders they are getting?
No, I believe it's going to speed it up. To the opposite.
Okay.
When you do KYC first and the system is good and it's working properly and it's fast and it's extracting the information precisely, what you do is that you ask the user to just type their email, scan their ID, extract the information, just continue from then onwards. They don't need to type information. They don't need to type their country. They don't type their name. They don't type their date of birth. And all this information, they are extracted from the identification. So that's the vast majority of workers, they will request for the document anyway. So
Yes.
you request the document and you extract the information at once. So that's a step forward, I believe.
Of course. No, you're completely right, I think. And from the perspective of the compliance, because in this situation, some of the responsibility changes, right? How do you think it will shift?
How I think it will shift in terms of the
Of
compliance.
the responsibility of a compliance team, yes.
Their life will be easier. They will worry less because most compliance officers I know, they are always stressed that the regulator will come and they will audit them and they might find something that they didn't notice. So everything is more automated. When the engine is handling everything well, then you can worry less if you're using a reliable engine and it's more secure. I know that most KYC providers and also ourselves, we put security first. So, and our product manager for this project has a very strong security background. So we value security a lot in this project, in this product that we just launched. I believe that it's helping compliance a lot.
Okay, so it's not, it doesn't mean that the compliance team is not needed anymore, right? That they're going to, with time, that they're going to disappear. It's just going to be change of a flow, change of responsibility. But at the end of the day, their life might be just easier, and the effect might be just more secure, right?
They are absolutely needed. And what I mentioned is done and is done by most of the brokers, but it's just improved. It's not changing really the life of the compliance officer. What is changing, for example, the voice analysis? The compliance department and the back office departments, they will work faster. So the procedures are optimized. If you're telling me, okay, will we need less support officer or back office people? Probably. But they can be utilized in doing something else in the business, which is not, let's say, a repetitive work.
I wanted to know from your expertise,
yes,
what KYC innovation is coming next? Are you able to predict any changes that might, any innovations that might happen in this space?
I believe that the next step will be, instead of using, I will give you an example. Instead of using a Google identifier or a Facebook identity or a Microsoft identity to sign up, we will be just using our NFC on our ID. That's going to be the next thing in the KYC and also the single sign-on. That's going to be unique. And it's going to be a very strong identification point.
It sounds a bit like like it will happen far future, but as we see now with AI, it's never like this. It comes actually every week. We have some new technology going up. So it might be sooner than later.
Yeah, I believe,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, in the far future, I see that we're going to be having flying cars.
Yeah,
It will take a few decades, but this one will be faster.
of course. So for the brokers who right now decide to modernize the KYC, do you have some piece of advice?
For the brokers, piece of advice, use compliance systems as compliant as possible, so to avoid headaches, and utilize compliance to their benefit. With the right system, they can be at the same compliant and more effective and efficient with their customers.
I really like that. Let's see what the future will bring for those brokers, of course. I think everybody's goal in this industry is to make KYC seamless as possible. And let's hope, of course, that this goal is near. I always ask our guests, because again, we work so hard in this industry, in any, let's say, in any space in this industry. And I am wondering, you personally, what do you do? What do you choose to do to have a bit of a relax after a long week, long day? What do you do basically to unwind a bit?
Unwind. What I do,
Yes.
of course, I will spend time with my family. I live in a country where you can enjoy the sea and you can enjoy the mountain as well in a short time. I play some music and I can watch some films. I can read a book to unwind, but I do unwind. I mean, I work a lot, yes, but when I have to unwind, I unwind.
That is a challenge. I almost never hear it from our guests that they really are able to fully do that, because like for me, it's a challenge every
You need a
day.
balance. I mean, you cannot be working nonstop. You need to relax. And I believe that everyone feels that at some point they have to relax. Everyone has their own engine to understand.
I agree. I like it very much, this approach. And also that's a very, very great note to end on. Today, we talked about why KYC needs to evolve, what we can expect from the future, what are the challenges for the brokers, and how the technology can help to balance security with very important with the client experience. A big thank you to you, Angelos, for joining us today. And of course, everyone for listening, for tuning in. I'm Paulina. This is Aaron Sirius. And see you, of course, next time. Thank you so much, Angelos.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, Paulina. I really appreciate the time and this podcast. And I wish you every success and continue doing podcasts like this useful to people.
Thank you so much. Thank you again for watching and being part of the conversation. If you found this insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and consider hitting the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Stay tuned for more industry insight, expert opinions, and actionable ideas right here on Brokeree Add-on Interview Series.